A true digital pioneer, he currently manages over 2,000 digital staff in 116 offices in 86 countries. He is Chief Digital Officer at Mindshare Worldwide. It is Norm Johnston. Welcome him on stage.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for the. I hate going after English guys because they always sound so proper. From Ohio, we just don't sound like that from Ohio, so I apologize in advance. Thank you for the invite. I think we've got a panel coming up shortly to talk a little bit about data and metrics. I'm just going to do just a few quick slides and hopefully a video, if it actually works, on the subject of adaptive marketing and our view and where things are going. I hope this is going to work. There we go. So, lots of big changes over the next 5-10 years. You've probably heard some of these data points already. About 2.7 billion people are on the internet right now. About another 3 billion are going to come online over the next few years. So quite significant change in just the number of people accessing the internet. And roughly, at least in China, 70% of those new users are coming through mobile. So the way they'll access the internet will be fundamentally different. But it's not just, I think, people. It's really also objects that will be the big change over the next few years. And you look at this data from Cisco, you got roughly around 5 billion objects connected to the internet, and you'll get about 55 billion objects, pretty much everything you can think of. Your Nespresso machine, your car, your hot tub, you name it, your basketball, your soccer ball will be connected. And I don't know, has anyone been to CES here? So when you go out to CES, you see those sorts of things. It's a really bizarre conference at CES. It's like thousands of IT geeks, a lot of people like you, and thousands of prostitutes all gathered together in Vegas for a few days. So it's very bizarre. So a lot of changes happening over the next few years. Incredibly exciting time for the internet. And you hear a lot about this, which is big data. So about 2.8 zettabytes of data that we've got right now, 90% of that created over the last couple of years. And that number, when those new people come on board and when those new objects get connected to the cloud, will be around 35 zettabytes. And you have to trust me, that's just a lot of data. There's lots of data that's coming in. But to me, it's not so much the fact that it's big data that's really interesting. There's all sorts of other elements and aspects of data that I think is more powerful. One is the fact that data is very swift, very fast. We can get more information faster than we ever have been able to in the past. And let me just give you one illustration of that. Does everybody know Justin Bieber? Any Beliebers out there? Come on, raise your hand. There's got to be one or two of you like him. First of all, he's Canadian, so I can take no responsibility whatsoever for Justin Bieber. I don't know what's happened to the Canadians. They've gone crazy over the last year or so. They've got the mayor in Toronto doing drugs. They've got Justin Bieber, so it's making the Americans look pretty good at the moment, which is great for a change. So there was a story about Justin Bieber that went around that he had cancer, a very sad story, chemotherapy, and had lost all of his hair as a result of that. And the Beliebers, there are about 50 million of them on Twitter, if you can believe it. What they did is they formed this group called Bold for Bieber to show solidarity with Justin as he went through this process. And what happened is, during the course of the week, you had all these girls and all these guys that shaved all their hair off and put the videos up on YouTube or the photos up on Facebook to show solidarity. Now, of course, this is not true. Justin was absolutely fine, but it just shows you how quickly information gets out there, particularly in places like Facebook and Twitter. And often, this can be about your brand, and often it can be very inaccurate. There was a story in India about Pepsi being tainted by HIV that made the rounds, and Pepsi was very slow off the mark to actually pick up on that information through listening tools and respond to it. Others, like Nestle, do a phenomenal job, I think, of listening to consumer chatter out there and ensuring either positive or negative sentiment, they react to that. There's also a lot of intelligence in data as well. Very smart things that we can do, particularly through mobile technology. So this is another example. This is from the US in the state of Connecticut. And a guy by the name of Felix Soto robbed a bank in Connecticut, took the money, got in his car, went across the state lines. Now, in the US, we have someone called federal marshal, and that's the person responsible for chasing criminals across the state lines. And what the federal marshal did in this particular case is they geolocated all the phones that were active in the vicinity of that bank at the very exact time that it was robbed. And they found about 250 different phones that were active, went through the criminal records, and they found Felix. So incredible intelligent things you can do with that mobile data. The federal marshals used to take about 48 days to arrest someone. It now takes them 2 days to track someone down and arrest them. So the moral of the story, lots of really interesting, particularly mobile data that you can use to do intelligent things. And if you ever rob a bank, whatever you do, turn your mobile phone off because you're probably going to get arrested. There's a pretty good guarantee that's going to happen. So we call the intelligent use of this real-time data adaptive marketing. There's lots of different sources of it. You can get it through search data, through Google, Yandex, Baidu, and others. You can get sentiment data online from companies like Radian6. You can get explicit social data through Facebook, Twitter, and other social destinations. And of course, behavioral data from all the programmatic work that you may be doing. And you can use that information to adapt advertising, creative, media, pricing strategies, product development, lots of interesting things, and you can do it really fast these days. And let me give you a couple quick examples of where companies are doing that. CocaCola, now I'm from Ohio, as I mentioned already, and growing up in the 70s in Ohio was really, really boring. There were about 4 TV channels. So we had not much to do, so I would go down to the Pizza Hut with my buddies, and we would mix together drinks like Coke and Dr. Pepper. And did anybody do this, or was it just like an American thing? Did that happen in Turkey? Did you guys do that? No? Somebody help me here. Did anybody do this anywhere in their respective? There we go. Where are you from? Oh, you're from American. That's all right. So they did in Jersey. Doesn't count. Anyway, and we would give the drink a name like Thunderball, and you'd dare your buddies to drink it. Sometimes it was god-awful, sometimes it was good. Well, Coke has taken this very simple idea, and they put it into a vending machine, and they call it Freestyle. And you can, just like I did back in Ohio at the Pizza Hut, mix together 125 varieties of drinks together. You can give it a name. You can send it through your friends and Facebook and Twitter and dare them to drink it as well. But the really interesting thing of this is that Coke monitors everything that's happening. They're looking at the trends of what types of variants of Coke and other products that they may have do people really like. And they've identified one variant of Diet Coke, which they've released into a physical store based on this real-time information that's coming through. Another example on pricing. This is Orbitz. I don't know if you guys use that application on your mobile phone. It's a travel assistant, so like Expedia. So if you're looking for, how many Android users do we have here? Few? Okay, how many OS users do we have? Right, okay, I apologize to the Android users in advance, right? So Orbit's mobile application, you're looking for a hotel in Istanbul. If you're an Android user, they suggest the Holiday Inn. If you're an Apple user, they give you the Four Seasons. Do you know why? Because they know that Apple users tend to spend more money than Android users, $30 to $40 on average. So they're adapting based on one single little data point, your operating system, the recommendations of what hotels to give you. Another example, this is in the UK. This is adapting offline based on real-time online data. Simple thing, this is where we looked at Google search data, and we geolocated that data. So how many people were searching on flu-related keywords, and we could identify by that volume where there would be a demand for Kleenex, because more people are going to get sick. And we knew, for example, if there was going to be an outbreak in Birmingham versus Wolverhampton. And what we did is adapted the TV on a weekly basis to move the TV budget from Wolverhampton into Birmingham on a week, and every week we did the same with other locations as well. And what we're seeing also now is the creation of these war rooms where you get all this real-time data, paid data, owned data, earned data, cultural data, contextual data, sales data coming together, and media agencies, the clients, the creative agencies, the PR agencies are working together, yes, sometimes during the Super Bowl and the World Cup, but on a regular basis to analyze that data, find that insight, and determine how they can adapt their marketing activity based on that. I'm going to show you an example now, I hope, if the video works, from Argentina of a great piece of work, brilliant creative thinking, where we used adaptive techniques to make sure we got great distribution of this work. And the reason I show this is because sometimes you get this argument between data and creativity. Can they exist together? And I think this is a perfect example of just a brilliant creative idea, and data was then used to make sure it got distributed as widely as possible. And we don't know if the video is going to work, so here we go.
¿Estás acá de nuevo? Hola, gordito. ¡Ay! Ahí de nuevo. Ahí de nuevo, de nuevo. Mira, mira, mira. ¿Sentís? Ahí. ¿No sentís?
No,
Pero está repateando.
no siento nada.
Ay, a ver.
From this day, feel alive. You're there to shine. And if you know if there's a better song, I will try to sing it right.
Acá. Se está moviendo un montonazo.
Siento cómo se mueve, siento cómo golpea. No puedo creer.
I showed this not too long ago. I had a woman that came up and said, yeah, try wearing that for another 3 months after that. So thank you very much. I will see you shortly with the panel, either immediately or in a few seconds. Thank you very much. We'll see you.